Hello, this is exercise 3 and in this we have 3 programs. So let's check what all are the programs. So the first program is as follows. In this program we have to take the name of the cricketer, his age, the number of matches he played, the average runs and the average runs scored, and we have to take this as input and we have to display all this in a tabular form. So first I create a structure named cricket. In this I take the variables as name, age, matches and average. The name is of string type, age is of int type, matches is int and average is float. I create a function called cricketer in which I take all the data. First I take the name and store it in name, then the age and store it in the variable age, then the number of matches played and store it in matches, and the runs scored by him and store it in average. And in the next I create a function which is void display, which displays all the data. So I print the name, I print the age, I print the number of matches, average runs scored, and the average runs scored. In the int function I create a structured array. I call the structured array. Yeah, I call the structure with its name, that is cricket. I make an object C with 2. That means I have created a structured array which can store 2 data. So I have used a for loop for each object. Here in this first for loop I have called C of I and dot cricketer. These loop will run for 2 times. The first time it will, in the first C of 1, it will dot cricketer, it will hold all the details of the first cricketer. In the second time it will hold all the details of the second cricketer. Then I have called this function C of I dot display 2 times. Again this C of 1 will display all the details of the first cricketer, and C2 dot display will display all the details of the second. So in this way we can create as many objects in the structure. So let's run the program. G++. Okay, the program runs fine. Okay, it says enter the name, love it, age 23, number of matches played 5, average runs 560. Okay, now it's Rahul. Again, sorry, age like 24, number of matches played 4, runs 300. Okay, now here we can see it's displaying all the details that we have taken from the user in a tabular file. This was the first program. Now let's go on to our second program. Now our second program is to calculate the power of a to the n to the power p. In this we have created a structure called power, and in its private section we have initialized 2 variables n and p. N is the number and p is its power. So in the public section I have created a function named POW, and I have taken 2 arguments n and p, both of integer type. Here I have initialized, inside this function I have initialized r equals to 1, and I have used a for loop to run this program's p times, that is how many times we need the power. P means the power, and inside this for loop I have given r equals to r into n. Initially r will be 1, then n, and it will keep on multiplying n until p times. So finally I have returned r. So this will give us the final answer. In the int main function I have called the function, I have created an object p by calling it structure power. The struct power p. Struct is its structure, power is the name, and p is an object. So here also we declare 2 variables, int x and y. We take the value of x from the user, then we take the value of y from this user, and we see out p dot p is the object we created, and power is the function that we created in that structure, power of x comma y. this function will go in this call function call will go here and execute this program, and it will return r, that is the value of x to the power y. So let's run this program. Let's compile it. Okay, now let's see the output. I suppose 2 and its power will be 5. Yeah, we see the outputs as 32. So our program is correct. Now let's go to the third program. In this program we need to swap two numbers. So first I create a structure named swap, and in its private section I declare two variables. Here I declare a pointer, two pointer variables, because if we are calling a pointer in the function, it will change the value in the memory. So the values will change here, not only change here but also in the main program. So I've called star x and star hashtag x and hashtag y. Sorry. In the public section I have created a function called swap, which takes two arguments, that is int star x and int star y, and inside this I have declared a temporary variable. First I assign the value at the location x to temporary, then I change the value at x to y, then I change the value at y to temp. So the swapping is done in this function. Now in the int main function I create a object s by calling struct swap s. This creates an object named s. Here I declare initialize two variables a and b. So I take the first number as input and store it in a. I take the second number and store it in b. While taking, I also print the first number is a, second number is b. Now I call the function, like I call using the object. So s dot swap a ampersand of a ampersand of b. Ampersand points at the location of these values. So the changes made at the variables x and y will be in its memory. So it can be viewed in this in the main program. This is called call by reference. This function is called call by reference. So once this function is called, the values are swapped of x and y. Then we print the value. The swapped values are a and b. So we get a swapped value. So let's check the program. First we compile it. Okay, now let's run it. So enter first number 23, enter second number 45. Okay, so here you can see for the first number we entered was 23, the second number was 45, but after swapping, the first number became 45 and the second number became 23. So this was all the three programs. Thank you.